welcome back to another episode to the moms. Today, we'll be talking about our postpartum journey.
Mm-hmm.
For some of you, your postpartum was great. I think for us, it was a bit of a challenge.
It was a roller coaster. I think that's the
Yeah.
best way to describe it.
Yeah, I will say after understanding postpartum and just understanding certain things that I did that was related to postpartum, like once the postpartum left, I kind of was just like, I went through that. I went through that shit. And I picked myself up by myself.
It just goes to show like how amazing moms are. Women in general, you know?
Right. Right.
And one thing I do want to say is that I think it's so important. This is something I wish that I did, is just educate myself on everything postpartum once you're pregnant. And I think doctors, especially in this country, need to do a better job at educating women, because it's good to know like what to expect, what signs to look for.
Yep.
Because it could be a very lonely time and confusing too. Like I know it was very confusing for me. Like, wait, what? Like, why didn't anyone tell me about this?
Same. I want to say when I think it was like in the middle of the pandemic and I was just so mean. I'm like, I don't understand like what's going on.
Yeah.
I think I like read some, I don't know, TikTok was huge. So I think I might have saw something on TikTok, and that's when I realized I'm like, oh shit. Like I think I am going through postpartum depression, but this was like 6 or 7, 8 months in.
That could happen.
Yeah.
It could happen. I think I forgot. It could happen until a year or maybe.
Yeah, it can last to a year, but what I'm saying, I didn't realize until 8 months.
That's what you were going through.
And I'm like, oh my God, like it's not me. I'm not the problem. I mean, I'm not the problem, but it's a chemical imbalance in my body that's like making it such a problem. And once I realized that, I kind of took a step back, and that's when me becoming a stay-at-home mom, like it was very intense. Like I had to do it. And that's when the begging, because I told Abraham, I was like, I'm not connected to Thane. Like I don't feel any connection to him. Like I know that's my son and I'm doing the things I'm supposed to do, but the amount of masking that I was doing.
Oh yeah. Me too.
I was like, I need to be a stay-at-home mom because I need to be able to connect with him. I do want more kids. I need to be able to figure this shit out.
To be more present.
To be more present and to be willing to be more present. Not like, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that, or like, I need to be this person that everyone thinks I am or like has to be. So it was hard. Being pregnant with Cyrilla, I did so much healing during that pregnancy. So much healing, so much
you gave yourself grace because you realized like
so much
you
grace.
had already gone through it once, right? So you knew a little bit what to expect.
Exactly. And I knew I did not want to go through that again. So I made it my mission to educate myself, to fully understand like triggers and what to look out for. At that time, I even educated Abraham. I'm like,
I was going to say that it's very important to educate your partners because they have no idea.
They have no clue. This whole while I was going through postpartum with Thane, Abraham thought I was a crazy bitch.
Yeah.
He's like, I married someone who's crazy. I mean, he didn't say that.
Yeah, in your head.
Like, in my head. In my head, he's thinking like, yo, this shit is fucking rough. Like she is crazy.
Yeah.
And like your aunt lived with us, so I'm pretty sure she's probably like, this bitch is crazy. Like what is up with her? You know? So
no, I totally get it.
I'm so happy that like I had the opportunity. This is like a double-edged sword. Going through postpartum, yes, it sucks, but for me, because I did the healing all by myself and I picked myself up, I am now this changed person.
It's like, almost empowering in a way.
Yes. It's almost it's empowering because it's like I did that by myself. I healed myself by myself without no one realizing what was going on. Like,
oh my God, I'm about to cry. Knew. Here we go.
We're only like 6 minutes in.
No, that just resonated with me so hard.
Like no one knew.
Yeah. I was in like a very dark cloud, I would say, postpartum. Like I was just, it was very confusing for me. I think when we got home from the hospital, I was recovering from the C-section. I don't think it, like the rush of hormones hit me, I think until like, I don't know, maybe like a few days in, like once I was already home, I experienced, the baby blues.
Yep.
Which, you've experienced. And we jotted down some notes here to kind of explain what exactly is the baby blues. So basically, it's a 2-week period where your body's, you just gave birth and you're going through the rush of emotions. It's like a drop in hormones.
Right. It's like your hormones trying to get back to normal.
Yeah, and it's very confusing because you're feeling sad one moment, then you're happy, then you're anxious, then it's just a lot of mood swings. Yeah, that was something else. And I experienced that for the 2 weeks, but then the crying never went away.
Right.
So I remember for my like my postpartum, what is it, like your post follow-up appointment, whatever the fuck?
Yeah, it's like the 6th. Well, for you, for a C-section, it would have been 8 weeks.
Well, yeah, so I had 3 appointments. I had a 2-week post-op, I had 6, and then I had 8 weeks. So for the 2 weeks, I went in because they have to make sure like your scar, everything is healing.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm gonna share this and be very vulnerable here, but basically, I went in to the appointment with Grayson, very frantic because leaving the house with Grayson was very overwhelming for me. I was very just all over the place, very chaotic, very like, oh my God, I need to make sure I have bring enough milk. Oh my God, like, is he okay? It was very overwhelming for me. So go to the appointment. My doctor checks my scar. Everything looks good. My nurse practitioner, Nicole, she's at every appointment. She's been I forgot to mention her in previous episodes. She is a godsend. So she's at every appointment. Once he leaves, she pulls me aside and she goes, "Are you okay?"
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, what do you, yeah. She goes, "No." She's like, "I've seen you at this office every 2 weeks for the last year. You're not okay."
Oh, wow.
And I broke down.
Yeah.
Like, I'm already like getting really
I know, I'm already like teary-eyed for you too.
Because I wasn't expecting to go into that appointment talking about like my mental health and how I was feeling. And I'm like, yeah, like I don't know what's going on. And she's like, it's normal. And that's when she was educating Blue on postpartum, and
oh, good.
Thank God for that, because it was very eye-opening for him. And yeah, she was just like, your feelings are totally valid, and what you're going through, it's normal. And yeah, so I was bawling, and she was like, there's things that you can do, there's resources, like, do you want to see a therapist, do you want to go the medication route? At the time I did go the medication route, and thank God that I did, because once I was on medication, I was good.
Oh, good.
I was good for a little while. So I think my postpartum depression lasted for about a month. And then I decided to wean off the medication, and I was fine from months 2 to about 5. And then I was experiencing postpartum anxiety around month 5. It was really hard for me to leave the house with Grayson. I kind of had intrusive thoughts of just worrying that something may happen to him.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
I still get them.
Oh yeah, me too. It's not as intense as it was before. It's not as intense. But yeah, 1,000%. It lasted a while. And then I exclusively pumped because I couldn't breastfeed Grayson, and that was really hard. I know you mentioned that you had a hard time connecting with Thane in the beginning.
Yeah.
Same
Yeah.
thing for me, for Grayson. I felt like I couldn't bond with him because I couldn't breastfeed him. And that was so hard because I tried so hard to make it work and I just couldn't.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like I would miss him even though he was right next to me. I would look
Mhm.
at pictures and I would obsess over his pictures. It was like weird. It was like I knew he was there, but like I couldn't believe that like I finally had this baby, especially after I
Mhm.
had gone through that my loss. Like I
Mhm.
couldn't believe that he was my son. Like
Yeah.
it was just very, very weird.
Yeah, for me, because Thane came early and like nothing was done, I kind of was just like lost. Like lost in this fog, like what am I supposed to do? Like nothing is put away. I don't have clothes for him that fit him. I have to go out. So his early life, like I kind of was just out getting him clothes, out getting him the things that he
Like figuring
needs,
everything out.
trying to figure things out because like he is premature, but he didn't need NICU. So I'm like
Right.
thankful and relieved, but like scared because like that whole thing with him having 1 ounce every hour, having to burp him for so long and like put him down, it was just like,
Mhm.
what the hell is going on? Like no one talks about anything like that. And I'm sure this happened to you when you left the hospital, but during
Yeah.
discharge, I remember them talking about baby blues and like postpartum and when
Yeah, I
to seek
remember.
help, but like you don't remember that when
No,
you're
you don't
in the
think about it,
midst.
and you're
Yeah,
in your
it's like
newborn bubble. You're not thinking about all that.
right, and you're sleep deprived. You're trying to
Yeah.
make sure that you're changing diapers on time, looking out for rashes, if
Yeah.
they're colic and burping, like all that just goes in one ear and out
Not
the
the
other.
other. Yeah.
And then with me, my first appointment was 6 months after.
Mhm.
So I mean 6 months, 6 weeks, sorry.
6 weeks.
Six
Yeah, six
weeks, yeah.
weeks. Yeah.
6 weeks after, and I wasn't gonna tell my doctor like I'm feeling sad. I don't
I
connect
know.
because
It's
like
hard. You almost feel like, I don't know, not
like a
embarrassed, but like,
bad
yeah.
mom. It's
Yeah.
like, damn, what's like I'm gonna say this out loud. Like I love my child, but like I don't in a sense. I love my life, but I don't in a sense.
It's
So
a big life transition too. Like
right.
you're a new mom. Like it's a huge, huge, people don't realize it. It's such a huge change. It's
Right.
it's like the biggest change that could happen in your life,
It's the
you know?
biggest change. And
Yeah.
I remember like we talked about in the last episode how like everything with my pregnancy with Dane was so unplanned.
Mhm. Mhm.
So there was the grief of like, okay, well, what's my life going to look now? Like throughout my pregnancy with Dane, like I was grieving the life that I
Yeah.
had because
Right.
it came so sudden. It wasn't like
Mhm.
we planned for this. Like, yes, I'm okay with everything changing. Like,
That's
I
true. That's
I
true
had
too.
to
Yeah.
change. I
Right.
remember I remember this and I would never forget.
Mhm.
Um I was texting a group of girls and I think I had found out the gender, but I wasn't telling anyone yet.
Mhm.
And I sent them the ultrasound picture.
Mhm.
And I put something along the lines, up until now, I wasn't happy, but looking at this picture, I am so happy and so grateful.
Mhm.
Their response was, babies are a blessing. You don't know how lucky you are to get pregnant because so many people
That's
in the world
true.
try to get pregnant and they can't get pregnant. And you should be grateful no matter what.
Mhm.
And I took that as a negative response.
Really?
I did. I did not take that positive. I took that negatively. And I remember thinking, this isn't the group of women I want supporting me throughout my pregnancy. I
Mhm.
had, remember how I sound very calculated. I sent that
Mhm.
same text message and picture to my best friend,
Mhm.
Jackie.
Mhm.
And her response was, it's okay. It is a huge change in your life. It was very unexpected for you. You had all these plans.
That's
It's
a
okay
good
to
response. Yeah.
grieve the
Mhm.
life that you had and start looking forward towards the future that you have with your new baby. And I remember thinking, that is the response.
Mhm. You'd want someone to make you feel like what
Validated.
validated. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And keep
Yep.
it real with you too.
And keep it real, yes, and that's exactly what Jackie did, and from that moment on, I knew the girls who were going to stand beside me and the ones that who would not. And I kid you not, it still shows to this day where Jackie is the only one showing up, telling me the right thing, telling me the things that not only I need to hear, because she does keep it real with me 100, but she also validates and support me. So from that moment, when I received that negative response in my eyes, I knew I had to start masking. I had to start pretending. And I think that's when things started going like downhill for me, was my pregnancy with Thane. Because things at work was stressful. He came early, and I swear he came early because I was so stressed with like work. So when he came in and he came early, it was just hard for me because, as you know, other things did happen to me during the pregnancy and I didn't feel good enough.
Yeah.
So
I get that.
I think if things were different and I had more people supporting me throughout pregnancy, I would have been more willing to say, I need help.
Right.
Something is off. I don't know why I'm feeling this way. And I think because I've been through that rock bottom, I think I became this person for like other people where I'm like, I'm gonna be there for them. I'm gonna ask them, how are you doing? I'll ask how the baby's doing and how the adjustment is. I'm gonna ask, how are you doing?
Because you've been through it and
because I've been through it and I understand what it's like to be alone. And I don't like when people feel alone because it's a sucky feeling.
It's it's a terrible feeling.
Yeah.
When, before I had Grayson, like during the pregnancy, I felt so prepared. Like I read so many books and I was like watching all these videos, and it was like the worst feeling, I feel like, when I had him, and I felt like I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Yeah.
I felt so lost, and I had like major mom guilt. I'm like, why can't I figure this shit out? Everything was so overwhelming. I didn't know how to do shit. Nothing.
Right.
Like it was like I was just, and you know what? I'm thinking about what you said about like things that friends say. Things that people told me were, oh, it'll come natural to you. So I put that in my head, like, okay, like, yeah, like once you have the baby, like everything will come natural. It'll come. I'm like, I didn't have that feeling.
Yeah.
That was very frustrating.
I didn't have that feeling with Thane because
it didn't come natural to me. I had to learn everything. Everything was like, I was lost. Like I said, I was in this fog. Like every day I would cry to Blue and I'd be like, why am I feeling like this? Why can't I figure this out? Like, why is everything so hard?
Right.
And why is it so easy for other people? Why, like, just why?
Right. And I feel like it's because like other people, they were like educated. Maybe they grew up watching someone. I don't know, like just I just think people that it comes naturally to, I think they grew up in a home watching mothers take care of their newborns, or just watching someone, or just fully educated on it. And I know I wasn't fully educated on it. Even though I took a parenting and child class
that shit
in
goes
high
out the window.
That goes out the window. The only thing it prepared me was like, okay, if you get a baby, your life is going to change because these are all the things you have to do, but not necessarily how it's done and like the why it's done. So just like you, with Thane, it was difficult. With Savrilla, I would say postpartum was a little bit better. How many weeks or days did Blue have off?
So that's another thing I wanted to mention. He only had a week off.
Same thing with Abe for Thane. He only had a week off.
Really?
Only a week.
That
or
was
maybe two weeks. I think it was
so hard. Like I remember when he told me, I was like, wait, you're only taking a week off? Like, what am I supposed to do? Like the C-section recovery was so freaking hard. Like I couldn't lift my body to pick up Grayson. You know how hard that was? Like I couldn't pick up my own child. I had to rely on Blue, and sometimes in the middle of the night, like he'd be sleeping and I'd have to like, can you wake up? I can't get up. I have to feed the baby. Like that was so freaking hard.
Yeah. So I can imagine.
Yeah, so like just knowing that he had to go back to work so soon. Yeah, he worked from home like for like a month after, but even so, like it was still hard.
I know. I get the feeling. I didn't have a C-section, but I did tear down there. So getting in and out of like my tall ass bed, it hurt. Like I had to use a step stool, get on a certain way. It took time for me to get on this, so I'm not like ripping my stitches down there.
Oh yeah,
I'm grateful. Terrible. Oh my god.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
It was bad. I remember there was one time I think I got scared and I like got up so quickly and I felt all this pressure there and I was like, oh my god, please don't rip, please don't rip. I'm like, please.
So that's kind of how a cervical cerclage is.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, like that pressure, like feeling like it's gonna, yeah.
And like, like, not to be TMI, but you don't wipe down there. Like,
right.
You not wipe. You have to use the Frida Perry bottle to feel squeaky clean.
And that's the one you have to use. Don't use the one from the hospital.
The hospital one is terrible. I remember, I think I got the Frida Perry bottle.
Yeah.
Like after I had given like birth. Like I didn't take it to the hospital. So like trying to like clean myself down there in the bathroom, I was like, it took me 30 minutes.
Yeah.
30 minutes every time. So like then there was that where I wasn't bonding with Thane in the hospital. Like Abraham was honestly doing everything. The only time I like held him was when I had to feed him. Or okay, sure, I would change his diaper, but then I'll be like, I have to pee. Like I need you to change his diaper, and I have to do this whole like setup. So then I for me, I feel like from the get-go, like I wasn't able to bond with Thane. And then I don't know if this happened with you, but the lactation consultant is there hovering over you, and I'm just like freaking out because it's like
right freshly like after giving birth, right? How overwhelming is that?
I'm like, you clearly don't know how many days I've been in this freaking hospital with no food and nothing, and you want me to like breastfeed.
It's invasive too. I don't know if they did it for you, but they were like, do you mind if I grab your nipple? Like, and they're just like trying to.
No, they didn't do that.
Yeah, they did that with me because nothing was coming out, so they were like trying to express, like show me how to hand express, and they were doing it on me.
Oh no,
it was very invasive.
Oh no, they didn't do that with me, thankfully. But yeah, and I remember just like already like panicking with like breastfeeding, and I think they said that he had some sort of lip tie, or maybe they didn't tell me that. But he wasn't latching.
That same thing with Grayson. He didn't latch. Oh my gosh.
I remember there was one time I was home, I was upstairs, and my mom and my sister was here, and I was like, I need help trying to like figure this out. So, I remember putting him on my nipple, and he like numbed on my nipple. I was screaming, and my mom had to like go like this to like take out, and I was like, get me formula because I can't do this.
Yeah. I mean, can we just talk about for a second how difficult breastfeeding is? Something that should quote unquote come natural, but the reality is that it doesn't for a lot of women. Like I know it didn't come natural for me. It didn't come natural for you. Like
it didn't. It did not. Oh my gosh. I remember I stopped nursing. I was like, F this, I'm not going to nurse. So I started pumping. And I was waiting for my insurance to send me the breast pump. Yeah. So I purchased like the $15 manual pump. And Lord have mercy, at first I was like, this hurts, but I preferred pumping than breastfeeding. But then after I would breastfeed, I don't know if you felt like this. I mean, pumping. I don't know if you felt like this, but I was not happy.
No, me
like
either.
I was not happy. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to do this. Like it became such
like a chore. It became like a chore. Yeah.
I had to like mentally prepare myself because I knew after I was done, like I wasn't gonna feel happy. And I didn't know that was something that can happen to pumping and like nursing moms when they have a letdown. They have these severe thoughts.
Yeah, so we wrote it down. So it's called dysphoric milk ejection reflex, and it causes intense negative emotions just before you let down or release milk. You get waves of feeling sad, lonely, confused.
Mm-hmm.
That
And
shit
then
sucks.
I like, this is the part where I'm in the beginning when you saw me, you were like, you look so stressed. Like, yeah, I am, maybe was stressed because I'm thinking about everything that had gone wrong during postpartum and how I went through that alone. And everyone just thought I was crazy. And it's just like, this shit isn't talked about enough for people to be like, you know what? I think breastfeeding is making me have these severe thoughts. Maybe I should stop. Maybe I should talk to my doctor and get the help. And I just wish Abraham was educated to some certain degree. I wish my mother-in-law was educated to some certain degree because things would have been different.
I know. And I wish friends would have been more upfront with us, you know?
Right.
That's why I'm so open about like my postpartum journey. I'm not ashamed to say that I was on medication. I'm not ashamed to say that I was dealing with depression, anxiety. I still deal with that on, regular, sometimes. It needs to be talked about.
Yeah.
Because you know how many women are probably feeling alone right now and masking,
right,
like you said.
I masked so hard that no one knew what the hell was going on.
Yeah. And I did too. Like people would be like, oh, how's mom life, how's motherhood? And it's just,
it's like,
it's freaking like if you only had a clue,
right. And then I hate even if you like open up like
you don't want to seem ungrateful. You don't want to see like a bad mom. Yeah.
Right. Or like, oh, there's so many women that would be lucky to be in your position. And it's like, I don't, let's just stop. Let's stop comparing
I hate
women against women because I absolutely hate that because as I said before, like your heart is your heart, my heart is my heart.
Exactly.
I should not hear that. No one should judge me for what's my heart. Like if your mental stability is you can handle all that shit, kudos to you. But I'm pretty sure there's something that I could handle that you can't. But like we shouldn't judge each other for that. Or I hate hearing like back in my day I didn't have this or I didn't have that. And it's like that doesn't help. That's not motivating. That makes me feel more of a shitty person, a shitty mother, and that I was not meant to do this.
100%.
Like that shit is hard. Or when you go ahead.
I was just gonna quickly add that when I had Grayson, like I was also grieving the loss of my first baby. That in itself was very confusing because I just kept thinking, man, like what if he was here?
Right.
That was very hard. And just hearing people say things like, even till this day, oh, well, you have your rainbow baby. Like everyone goes through things. People have miscarriages all the time. And it's just, that's not helpful.
That's not.
It's not.
That's not.
It's not.
I hate that that's the feedback that you're getting because I can't imagine being in your shoes after going through that. I can't because that shit is hard.
It was traumatic.
That shit is hard because now it's like you're like stuck in the middle where it's like I appreciate that the baby is here, but I wish I could have had Liam. I wish Liam was here. You know, so I know that really infuriates me that people weren't more supportive and understanding and validating towards your feelings. I don't think people realize when you made a YouTube video about your loss. I think people forget that you actually delivered Liam.
People think that I just had like and I'm not gonna a miscarriage. I'm not gonna diminish miscarriages. Like no one wants that, but I had to deliver Liam. Like I had to hold him. it was very, very traumatic.
Yeah. So that makes me very upset that people just don't validate you, weren't there for you, and like it's out there, and like you said, you're an open book. So it flabbergasts me how you don't get the support that you deserve.
No. And it's like I've said in a previous episode, people are almost scared to like, I know it's a touchy subject, but like, I don't know, people, they're just, I don't know.
Right. It's like, I don't know at what point I reach out to you, but I remember telling myself, like, I need to reach out to Kathy, but I can't bring up her loss without having her feel comfortable first. Like, I wanted to make sure that, like, you know, we were in like a comfortable situation where you felt okay to like tell me, because I think that's what people need to do. So reach out. How are you doing? What's your plans for the weekend? Oh my gosh, I saw this recipe and I thought about you, and I just by doing that, you can help someone go through a grieving process.
Yeah, just check in with them.
Yeah, it's not like, hey, are you still crying?
Yeah,
or
they're scared to reach out.
Yeah,
I hate
like,
that shit.
It's, I don't, because there's so many ways where you can just make a simple conversation into a larger conversation and make the person just feel validated, feel like they're a person, feel like they're beyond their like grief. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
So I hate that. I hate that for you.
I know. It's okay though. It's all good.
I know, because it's something you had to pull yourself out from. Oh, I wanted to circle back about the amount of leave time that Abe and Blue. For Cirilla, Abraham had 2 months.
Wow.
When I tell you that was amazing to have 2 months off.
How would you have done it with 2 kids?
It was,
because Thane was still a
it
baby.
was a blessing. He was
a baby still.
Yeah, he wasn't even 2 yet. He was 20 months. He was 20 months, and in my heart, I knew he was going to be autistic. Like, I just knew he was. So going through that throughout pregnancy. So pregnancy with Cirilla, I never mentioned this before. It was also tough because I was healing myself. I was trying to understand the signs for autism, trying to advocate for him, but he needed to catch up. Like, his timeline to catch up was by 2 years old, and from there it is considered okay, so he has some sort of developmental delay. So when I had give birth to Cirilla and Abraham had 2 months off, by the time he went back to work, I was already making appointments for
oh my god, that's right,
to be evaluated.
That's a lot to go through.
It was so much to go through, but I am so thankful that the 2 months that he had off helped. Like, I turned my guest room into a postpartum room because I knew I was going to need a space to call my own where I can just close the door, read a book, watch TV, and calm the fuck down. So that was very, very, very helpful. But postpartum with Cirilla, it was literally nonstop doctor appointments for Thane and for her too. I don't know if I ever told you, but she developed hemangiomas 2 or 3 weeks after giving birth. Do you know what
that? No.
That's they call them strawberries. So it's like this it's like a vessel of blood that like develops over the skin. It can get like really big. Apparently your sister had it on her head and it went away.
Oh,
yeah. So Cirilla had it in an area that wasn't you couldn't see it.
Okay.
So she had to get an ultrasound done to make sure there wasn't any hemangiomas inside her. There's none, thankfully. But we had to be on watch with her because if it burst, then we had to take her to the emergency room.
Wow. So yeah, going back to Thane, you were going to all the doctor appointments.
Doctor's appointments after doctor's appointments. And when Cirilla was 10 months old, we finally got the diagnosis that he was autistic. And
wow.
I remember by then I was just so numb. I was just so numb through like postpartum because it's like everything happened so fast with him and all
Yeah.
the therapies that we were doing. We were doing four therapies a week at one point.
Wow.
And I finally get this diagnosis, and I remember the psychologist was like, it's okay to cry. It's okay to take it with a grain of salt. And I was like, no, I'm just happy this is done. This is
It's
over
because
with.
you
I
knew in your
have what I
heart.
need. I knew in my heart. And what pissed me off so much was wait until he's two, wait until he's
That's a
two,
long time
because
to wait if you already
that
knew in your heart and you wanted
I
him to
knew.
be evaluated sooner.
Yes, I knew at 15 months, but they say 15 months and 18 months, it's early. And I was like, okay, fine. I'll give it to 2 years old.
Yeah.
So when I finally got it, I was like, sure, like I'm gonna have to grieve the life that I thought I was gonna have with my son.
That must be really hard.
But it's it's still hard to this
Yeah,
day, but
it's something that you're going to think about
I think about it every
forever.
day,
Yeah.
forever, for the rest of my life. And I'll talk more about it. I'll definitely want to
Yeah, we'll
dedicate
dedicate an episode just, you sharing bringing awareness
yeah, for
and
sure.
talking about your experience with that.
Absolutely. But once I got the diagnosis, it was like confirmation that, he is autistic. This is going to open doors for him because um I needed that data report for the school, for the child study team, so he can start school when he was 3, and thank God he is. He did. He's in a self-contained classroom, so just going through a lot of grief with Cyrilla during postpartum was also a lot. That's when I dyed my hair red because I was like, I need to spaz the fuck out.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to turn into alcohol or to drugs, to weed. I was like, I need to spaz the fuck out. And I
So you
dyed
dye
my
your hair red.
fire red. And then I think once Cyrilla turned, they say postpartum depression, anxiety, and rage can last up until a year.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
Because I could tell you by like my birthday, I was good.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, wow, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But then I was having hormonal problems, which I want to talk about in a later episode.
We'll definitely talk about that. So I stopped exclusively pumping with Grayson at the 7-month mark. And again, something that no one mentioned to me, I had to figure out on my own. When you stop pumping or breastfeeding, it's like you have the baby blues all over again.
Yep.
Because your body's like, oh, okay, you're not feeding anymore. Like your body's trying to regulate itself. So you have the drop in hormones again. I went through it. Like let me see, I stopped pumping beginning of March, I think, or end of February. I can't. Yeah, beginning at the 7-month mark. So it was like March. And I had gone to a new OB to get my blood taken and checked out because I was concerned about my hormones. I was like, this shouldn't be happening. Why am I feeling like this? And she diagnoses me with PCOS. She does like an ultrasound and everything. And I'm like, fuck, like what the hell? I have PCOS. And for 2 whole months, I'm convinced that I have PCOS. I changed my diet. I'm taking all these vitamins. And then I decided to get a second opinion with another OB, someone that I already know. This is the surgeon that removed that cyst that I had when I was pregnant with that I found when I was pregnant with Liam. And he checks me and everything, and he's like, you don't have PCOS. Like that doctor completely misdiagnosed you. She didn't even do the right, like there's a bunch of stuff like panels that she missed. And yeah, on your ultrasound, like it shows that you have some I forgot what he said, like not fibroids, but
Follicles?
Follicles.
Yeah.
But he's like, I think it's just because you're ovulating right now. Like, if anything, like you're really fertile.
Mm-hmm.
And I was explaining to him like all of my symptoms and everything, and he was like, just wait till you're a year. This is completely normal. This is completely normal. I remember you telling me, Amaris, that he's like, you're going to start to feel like a lot of these symptoms that you're feeling are going to start diminishing. And he's right. Literally, like once Grayson turned 1, a lot of those symptoms that I had, they're gone.
Yeah. It's insane.
It's crazy.
It's the shit that we go through. And it's all like it's all freaking hormones.
It's all hormones.
It's all hormones.
But it's not talked about. Like, that's what pisses me off.
Right. So that's why we're here.
That's why we're here. Yeah. And bringing awareness to that shit. Cause
yeah. My goodness.
We've been talking for an hour. We can't stop. We have so much to say.
We have so much to say because so much has happened to us where we're just like, fuck, like all this shit could have been avoided if we were just educated, or someone was educated and willing to share.
100%.
Speaking about sharing, do you want to share some tips that helped you with your breastfeeding journey?
Yeah. I mean, so as far as pumping, I will say make sure you're getting the right pump.
Oh yeah.
I got one through my insurance, which was fine, but it's the one that it connects to the wall. Or you could be hands-free, but you need like the bra. You know what I mean? That didn't work for me. It just did not work for me. I couldn't just stay in one place, especially like if Blue wasn't around, like, and I needed to pick up Grayson or something. So I went with the portable route. And those actually really, I know they're hit or miss for a lot of people, but they really worked out for me. So that's important. And make sure your phalange size is correct. What else?
Air drying.
Air drying. Yeah. So after you're done pumping, make sure you air dry, because you gotta heal, the nips. And going in hand with the healing, something that I use were the silverettes. They're like little silver caps that you put on your nipples. Oh my gosh, those things are amazing. Did you use those?
I didn't. I found that out until like afterwards, but I heard they're like a godsend.
Yeah, because they keep them cool. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like a very cooling feeling. So that's very helpful. And then any creams, like I know a lot of people use like coconut oil. I use lanolin cream, I think it's called.
Yeah. I use that too. That's amazing.
That is so good.
Fun fact, so random.
Yeah.
Whenever I like put like if I took out extra of like the nipple cream, I'll just put the rest on my lip.
Oh my god, bitch! I just did that right now. I keep a tube. I have the tube because it's multi-purpose.
It's amazing.
I literally right before this episode, I was like, "Where's my chapstick?" And I pulled out I was like, "Fuck it." That's so funny.
They work great. So I'll be like, okay, let me take care of the nippies. Let me take care of my lippy. And I'm like, all right, I'm good. Let's go.
It's so good. You could even use it as diaper cream too. Like, it has so many uses. I love that.
It's amazing. If you do plan on nursing, I will say, look at the different positions that they have.
Oh, yeah.
Because I remember, I think it was the football hold. The football hold was one I could do on like one side of the boob, but I couldn't do with the other. And like the other, I had to do the cradle holds.
Yeah.
So if you have the nursing pillow, bring that to the hospital, because with Cirilla, I was determined to like breastfeed and like pump. But the one thing I forgot to bring was a nursing pillow.
I use that thing. I think that everyone should get a nursing pillow, because you end up still using it post. Like, I use that pillow all the time if I need to prop Grayson, like for a diaper change.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, or even like if you're for C-section moms, like putting it here, it's so
you need it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You need it. So definitely get one and bring that in the hospital because it is amazing. And like you said, I did use a portable pump, but it wasn't the greatest, but it did just enough to like let me down and kind of just send the signal to my body I need more milk. So I was plugged into the wall. And for me, it wasn't that bad because I'll just put on the TV, pump for like 20 minutes max, and everything was good. I tried my best to like time it while Sorella was sleeping or Thing was eating or playing.
I had a very strict schedule with my pumping schedule.
Oh, okay.
It was didn't. Really?
No, I kind of was just like, oh, I'm full, gotta pump. Oh, I'm full, gotta pump.
But you were breastfeeding her too, right?
I only breastfed her up until Abraham went to work. So I was nursing and pumping at the same time, but I could not breastfeed. It was very hard to breastfeed and try to take care of a toddler. It was much more easier when I was plugged in. I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
It's cute because Thane will like help me like put it on.
Oh, that is so cute.
Pressing the button, and because he was in speech, I made it like a game, like ready, set, and then he'd be like go. So I made it like into this little game with him, and it was very helpful, and it was cute. It was cute. But I only pumped for 10 months, and then afterwards I'm like, I got all this freezer stash, let's go. Because I think by 10 months I was already I was so stressed.
Oh my God.
I was so stressed by 10 months. So
that's how I was with at 7 months. I was stressed out. That's why I had to stop pumping because I'm like, this is too much. And I had an oversupply.
That's right.
I had an oversupply. So I started out at 8 pumps a day, and I eventually got down to 3 pumps, and I was still having an oversupply. At 3 pumps, only 3 pumps a day. I was like making 30 ounces a day. I know.
30 ounces
so
a
imagine
day?
how much I was making. Yeah, it was insane. I know.
Oh my God.
I had like extreme weight loss. Like extreme weight loss. Like I felt like I was underweight at one point. It was just a lot. But I'm glad that I did it until 7 months. And like you, I had a freezer stash as well. So.
Wow. Yeah, no, not me. My freezer stash, I think, lasted for just a month, maybe a month and a half. Okay. But it was fine because she turned 12. So I was like, we're going to put you on toddler formula.
Yeah.
We're good. We're fine. And when I stopped, like, I wasn't upset. When I stopped breastfeeding with Thane,
I was upset when I stopped.
The guilt.
Oh, yeah.
The amount.
Well, maybe because you had already gone through it. Like, so you knew.
I think I was more educated.
That too, right.
With breastfeeding. I was comfortable in my decision. When I stopped at 2 months with Thane, I was like, I feel like a failure. I'm a shit mom because they say breast is best. Yeah. It's like, no, it's not.
I felt so guilty.
I felt like people were judging me. I felt so ashamed.
Me too. And then it took us a while to find a formula that worked for Grace. Well, I wouldn't say a while, but it took like 3 different formulas, I would say.
Yeah. With me, it wasn't difficult, and I'm like so thankful because that's another thing that people don't talk about. Like your babies can have allergies.
Yeah.
And it takes many doctor's appointments and figuring out like what formula works best for them. I had no idea stuff like that existed until you're in these mom groups and you're like, oh, my son or my daughter has a milk allergy when all they have a soy allergy. They have this allergy.
It's such a real thing that's not talked about. I know with us, like we tried Kendamil. Have you heard of that one? It's like it's a European brand. I heard great things. So we bought a can of that, decided to try it out. But I think it was just too heavy for him. It was like I think it was like whole milk, or I don't know what. But it was like every time I would give it to him, he would vomit.
Oh.
Yeah, and I told the pediatrician and she was like, just give it time. But I'm like, he kept throwing up. I'm not I'm like, no, I'm going to switch to something else. So we switched
Mm-hmm.
to Bobby, and he loved that one.
Okay.
So yeah, he loved that one. So he took that all the way until 12 months.
Let's talk about ways your partner, your spouse, or anyone that's in your corner can help you out.
Yeah.
For me, what was so helpful with Abraham was taking on some night feedings.
Oh yeah.
That
Definitely.
was so helpful. Cooking, cleaning,
washing the pumps, the bottle parts. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I think every night before Abraham went to bed, he ensured that all the bottles, all the nipples, all the parts were clean. And in our little sterilizer machine, which also dried them. So it was such a game changer just having that dryer as well, because
I had to hand dry.
Yeah, we did that with Dane. Oh my gosh, terrible. So with Cyril, I was like, absolutely not. I'm gonna find something, and I did. Philips Avent. They have the sterilizer dryer.
I'm definitely gonna get that for the next baby, because
I'll get that for you for the next baby.
Yeah.
It was amazing to have. So I knew, all the bottles were in there, were clean. I didn't have to wait. I could just bam. He also made sure the what's it called? The baby Breeza formula dispenser
was filled.
Remember?
Yeah,
was filled with water and formula. Was clean, because sometimes a little the spout will get like gunky and like dirty. So he made sure like that was clean. So that was really, really helpful.
That's awesome.
Making sure I was staying hydrated.
That's
and
key.
Like eating the right things.
Blue was always like refilling my water bottle.
Yeah, because they know how important it is to stay hydrated and to fed and being fed like the right thing. So I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah, me too. Like even my mom was such a huge help. Like she would come in here and she would meal prep some items for me. So like oatmeal, a bunch of stuff, just to make sure that I was nourishing my body, so that I was be able to nourish Grayson as well. So
right. Words of encouragement.
Yes, like, you're doing a great job. You're amazing.
You don't know how great it is to hear that.
Oh, that's amazing.
You're doing
I'm
such
proud
a good
of
job.
you.
I'm proud of you. You're doing great. Or I love you. If this,
Yeah, you're a great mom.
Yeah, just anything, because going through postpartum, like you said, you're in this fog of I'm not good, I'm a failure, I'm this, I'm that.
Yep.
So to hear things like that, it's like I am like, oh my gosh, thank you. I'm so grateful. Take them out on dates. Yeah. Take them out on dates. Like I remember 1 week postpartum with Cirilla, Abraham dropped off Thane at your aunt's.
Okay.
And did a surprise date for me with all the things I could not eat while pregnant. So I got sushi. He got all the sushi
he thought of
in the
this
world.
on his own?
On his own. Got wine. What else did he get?
Bless
sushi,
his heart.
wine. Italian meats. I love prosciutto. So he got like a big sack of prosciutto.
That is so sweet.
I started crying hysterically because, postpartum blues.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, but I'm breastfeeding. He's like, but I read online that if
he did his research.
And he did his research. So he's like, I'll take her right now. Go empty yourself out, and you can have like 4 ounces of wine. And by the time you need a pump again or breastfeed again, like everything will be fine. I was like, okay, no problem. It was so nice.
That's so nice. Yeah,
it was so
Blue would hand me a cocktail every once in a while. Like, here you go.
And fun fact about Blue, he knows how to mix drinks well.
He does. He's a mixologist.
Yes, he is. Your aunt's always bragging how he made this ginger beer or something. I don't know. Yeah. I forget. She's always like, oh my God, Blue made me this drink and I can't stop thinking about it. And I'm like,
it's a really good drink. It has like, I think it has like mezcal and ginger beer. I don't know what, but it's really good.
It's something.
He needs to get back into it.
He does. All right, guys. Well, Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this episode was very helpful for you guys.
Yeah.
Let us know if you want us to talk more about postpartum, because we could probably go on and on talking about postpartum.
I think it's one of the things I'm most passionate about, I would say.
Yes, I would say too. Because it's so important to know. There's so much resources out there. I will end it on a note. If you do feel like you're having any signs of postpartum depression, anxiety, or rage, please reach out to your doctor. Do not feel ashamed. Do not feel like you're a bad mom or a bad person. Please get the support that you need.
Also, real quick, when we post this episode, we'll post some resources on our Instagram too. So be on the lookout for that.
Yes.
All right. Bye, guys.
All right, guys. Bye.